Hare Krishna, dear devotees, Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, all glory to Sri Lakshmi Nrsimha Bhagwan, all glory to Prahlad Nrsimha Bhagwan. So we wish to welcome you for our day one of Sri Nrsimha Katha. So those who have Srimad Bhagavatam at home, they can have their copy with them because we're going to read from Srimad Bhagavatam. And on this very auspicious we should say next week on 25th we're going to celebrate Sri Nrsimha Chaturdashi. So in this context we have come up with this series of daily Sri Nrsimha Katha, and we're going to read from Srimad Bhagavatam. So we request all those who have a copy to have the Srimad Bhagavatam at home, so you can take the 7th canto, and we're going to start reading today the devotees from chapter 2. So we have planned to read the first 13 verses. So before we go ahead, we seek the blessings of our spiritual masters, Guru Srila Prabhupada, and all our Vaishnava Acharyas. So we're going to start with Mangalacharan. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shiyutpatikamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijan Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakham Vitamsya. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dena Bandho Jagatapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Vanamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhatreshu Nityam Bhavata Sevaya Bhagavate Tam Shlokir Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunj Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajjana Ranjan Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. So, dear devotees, once again, we wish to welcome you all for our Sri Nrsimha Katha, and today the first day. So, we are going to start by reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, the 7th canto, chapter 2, text 1. So, everything will be displayed there on the screen, so it is going to help everyone to follow. So, we pray at the lotus feet of Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga, and we pray to Lord Nrsimha so that His Lordship bestows His causeless mercy upon us, and we are able to read from Srimad Bhagavatam, and as we say, praying for the protection of one and all. So we're going to start with the first text, text 1. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Narada Uvacha Bharta Yevam Vinihate Harina Krodhamurtina Hiraṇyakaśipu Rajan Paritapyad Rushashucha. Translation. Sri Narad Muni said, "My dear King Yudhishthir, when Lord Vishnu, in the form of Varāha, the boar, killed Hiraṇyākṣa, Hiraṇyākṣa's brother Hiraṇyakaśipu was extremely angry and began to lament." Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. आह चेदं वृषा पूर्णः सन्दष्टदशन छद्दः कोपोज्वलभ्यां चक्षुर्भ्यां निरीक्षन् धूम्रम् अम्बरम्. Translation. Filled with rage and biting his lips, Hiraṇyakāśipu gazed at the sky with eyes that blazed in anger, making the whole sky smoky. Thus he began to speak. So here, the devotees, we would like to do a small recap and to explain this beautiful pastime. As Bhagavan Vishnu had assumed the form of Lord Varāha, he had come to kill Hiraṇyākṣa, because Hiraṇyākṣa actually had taken the entire, should say, bhumi, and taken down in the Karn Jal. So who can go there and save the world? It was only Bhagavan in the form of Lord Varāha. So Bhagavan took that form and actually took back the earth in the proper orbit. So Hiraṇyākṣa had a fight with Bhagavan Vishnu in the form of Lord Varāha, and Lord Varāha was just enjoying, because we have to understand that Hiraṇyākṣa and Hiraṇyakāśipu both were actually Jai and Vijay, and they were actually the gatekeepers of Vaikuntha Lok. But due to their curse, they had a curse from the four Kumaras, Sanak, Sanandan, Sanatan, and Sanat Kumar. And due to the curse, they had to come and take birth 3 times as demons. So we should understand that all was the arrangement of Bhagavan, because Bhagavan Sri Hari wanted to enjoy this kind of Leela. So he needed someone of caliber to come and fight with. So the 2 chosen were Jai and Vijay, and they assumed the form of Hiraṇyākṣa and Hiraṇyakāśipu. So here we're going to see in the coming days, every day we're going to read about this role that Hiraṇyakāśipu, he was playing the role of the villain, I should say, because here he wanted to avenge, because his brother Hiraṇyākṣa was killed by Bhagavan Vishnu, by Bhagavan Varāha. So he wanted to take revenge. So for that, he started his atrocities. So as we just mentioned in the 2nd verse here, we have just read it again. Filled with rage and biting his lips, Hiraṇyakāśipu gazed at the sky with eyes that blazed in anger, making the whole sky smoky. Thus he began to speak. So the purport, Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada explains, as usual, the demon is envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they are inimical toward him. So these were Hiraṇyakāśipu's external bodily features, as he considered how to kill Lord Vishnu and devastate his kingdom, Vaikuntha Lok. So this is the plan of demoniac people. They want to fight with the Lord while still they know that they can't do anything. But still, this is all by the arrangement of Bhagavan, Shri Krishna, Bhagavan Vishnu. So the Lord wanted to have this kind of pastime. So we move to text 3. Karaladam strogra drishtya duspekshya bhrukute mukhah shulam udyamya sadasi danavan idam abhrave. Translation: exhibiting his terrible teeth, fierce glance, and frowning eyebrows, terrible to see, he took up his weapon, a trident, and thus began speaking to his associates. Assemble the assembled demons. So, as is mentioned, we know that birds of the same feathers are going to flock together. So, Hiraṇyakāśipu was always in association with demons. So, he was just showing his parakram. He wanted to show his valor. How? He was just declaring. So what was his declaration? Let's see now what Hiraṇyakāśipu is declaring to his friends, to the demons. So here we're going to have two texts together. So we are going to read them together. O Danavas and Daityas, O Vimurdha, Trikshya, Shambar, and Shatbahu, O Hayagriv, Namuchi, Pak, and Ilval, O Viprachiti, Pulaman, Shakuna, and other demons, all of you, kindly hear me attentively and then act according to my words without delay. So we're going to read the Sanskrit text. Bho bho danav daiteya vimurdham satriksha shambhara shatbaho hayagriva namuche pata ilvala viprachitte mama vachaha puloman shakunadayah shrinutanantaram sarve yatam ashumachiram. So here Hiraṇyakāśipu is addressing to his army. So these were his generals, those who were there: Dvimurdha, Triksha, Shambar, and Shatbahu. Now there is also the name of Hayagriva. We should not confuse with Hayagriva, who Bhagavan had taken the form of Lord Hayagriva. That is another personality, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But here, this Hayagriva is actually a demon. And also there's Namuchi, Pak, and Ilval. So this is how Hiraṇyakāśipu is addressing to his associates. And now what he's going to tell them. Sapatnair ghatitah kshudreir bhrata me dayitah suhrit parshni grahen harina saminapyu padhavaneha. My insignificant enemies. Let's see with the arrogance that Hiraṇyakāśipu is talking. He is calling the demigods, the Deva Devis, as insignificant enemies. So he mentions him because he was so powerful. He had undergone so much austerities, and now he is showing his arrogance. My insignificant enemies, the demigods, have combined to kill my very dear and obedient well-wisher, my brother Hiraṇyākṣa. Although the Supreme Lord Vishnu is always equal to both of us, namely the demigods and the demons, this time, being devoutly worshipped by the demigods, he has taken the side and helped them kill Hiraṇyākṣa. So this is what actually demons usually say. They feel that the Lord is partial. Now, is Bhagavan really partial? Now, we're going to see how Bhagavan actually, in the first chapter, is mentioned that Bhagavan is equal to one and all. He is equal to everyone. But due to the bad karma, this is why the demons have to suffer, or they have to face the wrath of Bhagwan. So here, in the next two verses, 7 and 8, we see how now he is kind of criticizing the Lord and telling how the Lord is showing partiality to the demigods. We're going to read together. Tasya tyakta swabhavasya ऋणेर्मायावनोक्तः भजन्तं भजमानस्य बालस्येवा स्थिरात्मनः मच्छोलभिन्नग्रीवस्य घोरिणा रुधिरेण वै असृक्प्रियं तर्पयिष्ये भ्रातरं मे गतव्यतः. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has given up his natural tendency of equality toward the demons and demigods. Although he is the Supreme Person, now, influenced by Maya, he has assumed the form of a boar to please his devotees, the demigods, just as a restless child leans towards someone. Hare Krishna. I shall therefore sever Lord Vishnu's head from his trunk by my trident, and with the profuse blood from his body, I shall please my brother Hiraṇyākṣa, who was so fond of sucking blood. Thus shall I too be peaceful. So this shows to what extent Hiraṇyakāśipu was arrogant, and also we should say in ignorance. There's a very nice equation. We say mathematically, when someone has big ego and then he is in ignorance, so ignorance plus ego leads to arrogance. So this was the situation of Hiraṇyakāśipu. How he declared that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan Vishnu, he is mentioned that now he is influenced by Maya. How can Bhagavan be influenced by Maya? This is impossible. But this was the declaration of Hiraṇyakāśipu, who himself was in ignorance. So we move to the next verse. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So we're going to read from text 9. Tasmin pute hite nashte kritamule vanaspato Vitapa eva shushyanti Vishnu prana divokasaha. Translation. When the root of a tree is cut and the tree falls down, its branches and twigs automatically dry up. Similarly, when I have killed this diplomatic Vishnu, the demigods, for whom Lord Vishnu is the life and soul, we lose the source of the life and wither away. So this was the strategy of Hiraṇyakāśipu. We see the strategy of demons. This is how he feels that he is feeling that, thinking that he should kill the Lord. Now, can he kill the Lord? We're going to see what's going to happen on the seventh day, last day of Katha. So, purport, very small purport here, given by Jagad Srila Prabhupada. So the difference between the demigods and the demons is here explained. This is the difference between Devta, Devis and the demons, the Rākṣasas, the deities. So the demigods always follow the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But whereas the demons simply plan to disturb or kill him, they want to kill the Lord. And we even see this in the world. How atheistic people, they want to kill the Lord. They don't want to keep the identity of Bhagavan. They don't believe in it. So nevertheless, sometimes the demons very much appreciate the full dependence of the demigods upon the mercy of the Lord. So they know how demigods, Devta Devis, they are fully dependent on Bhagavan Krishna, Bhagavan Sri Hari. So this is an indirect glorification of the demigods by the demons. So the demons are in some way glorifying the Devta Devis, because they know that the Devta Devis are always taking shelter of the Supreme Personality of God. So this is how Hiraṇyakāśipu, in some way, indirectly, he is glorifying the Devta Devis and calling them how they are always being favored by the Supreme Lord, because they are always surrendered at the lotus feet of Bhagavan Sri Krishna. So in the text 10, we're going to read together. Tavadyat bhuvam yuyam brahma kshatra samedhitam shuddha yadvam tapo yagya swadhyaya vrattadaninaha. Translation: while I'm engaged in the business of killing Lord Vishnu, go down to the planet Earth, which is flourishing due to Brahmanical culture and a Kshatriya government. These people engage in austerity, sacrifice, Vedic study, regulative vows, and charity. Destroy all the people thus engaged. So this is the strategy of demons. They know that where is the force, and we see even in Kali Yuga what's happening. Very few people, have that are following the Brahmanical culture in Kali Yuga. But this was happening in Satyuga. Even in Satyuga, we had demons. They were actually the first demons, according to Shastra, according to Srimad Bhagavatam. So Hiraṇyākṣa and Hiraṇyakāśipu were the first two demons in that cycle, in that yuga, Satyuga. So this is how now the demons know that on earth, that why are you should say people living a prosperous life? How come? What is the secret formula behind having a prosperous life? So because it is how it happens when the Brahmanical culture flourishes and you have a Kshatriya government, and everyone is knowing, they know their proper duty, they know what they have to do. The Brahman knows they have to give knowledge to all the other people of the other, you should say, different varnas, the Kshatriya, the Vaishya, and the Shudra. So the Brahman are there always giving the main, should say, the main business of Brahman is Pathan, Yajña, Dan, and Pratigraha. So they are always immersed in preaching the holy names of the Lord. They are always reading Shastra, and whatever they are doing, Pathan, they teach to others. Yajña, whatever yajña they do, and they show to others over how to do that kind of yajña. And we know for our yuga, for Kali Yuga, it is what yajña we do is Sankirtana yajña. So what is Sankirtan Yajna? Is the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That's why, dear devotees, well-wishers, family members, and friends, we are requesting you all to chant this holy name, this beautiful holy name. Bhagavan has invested his full energy in that. So we have to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Till the chanting of the holy names of the Lord means the Brahmanical culture is there. And when we have a Kshatriya government, we are talking about the Rajrishis, the kings who are being advised by the Brahmins, then we have a very strong government. So why? Because then, thanks to the Brahmanical culture and a Kshatriya government, the Rajrishis, so people, all the Brahmins and the Kshatriya, and even the Vaishya and the Shudra, they'll be engaging in austerity, sacrifice, Vedic study. Here we mean about the Brahmins and the Kshatriyas. Okay, so these people engage in austerity, sacrifice, Vedic study, regulative vows, and charity. But what now? What's the strategy of Hiraṇyakāśipu? He wants to destroy all the people who are engaged in this Brahmanical culture, and as mentioned, Kshatriya government. So we move to the next verse. We're going to read together. Text 11. Vishnur dvijya kriya mulo yagyo dharmamayah puman Deva rishi pitri bhutanam dharmasya cha parayanam. Translation. The basic principle of Brahmanical culture is to satisfy Lord Vishnu, the personification of sacrificial and ritualistic ceremonies. Lord Vishnu is the personified reservoir of all religious principles, and he is the shelter of all the demigods, the great Pitas, and the people in general. When the Brahmins are killed, no one will exist to encourage the Kshatriyas to perform yajñas, and thus the demigods not being appeased by yajña will automatically die. So we see how demoniac Hiraṇyākṣipu was. He wanted to come to this level. He wanted to kill, to finish off the Devta Devis. How? By destroying the Brahmanical culture and the Kshatriya government. So in the purport, Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada is explaining that since Vishnu, Bhagavan Vishnu, is the central point of Brahmanical culture, so Hiraṇyākṣipu's plan was to kill Vishnu. So if Vishnu were killed, naturally the Brahmanical culture would also be lost. Now this Brahmanical culture lost, yajña would no longer be performed. So we won't have Brahmins to perform yajña. And then what will happen? And for want of yajña, the regular distribution of rainfall would cease. Now nowadays, even we are seeing so much problem in our in Kali Yuga. We are all, so many people are affected by this virus. And it's all because there's not proper performance of yajna. So if yajna were being performed, mainly Sankirtan yajna, as devotees are doing, Vaishnavas are doing throughout the world, chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, still we have some solace, we have some hope. But the day we stop totally doing Sankirtan yajna, and we shouldn't forget in Bhagavad Gita chapter 10, text 25, Bhagavan Krishna mentions, of all yajna, he is japa yajna. This is why we do japa. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So Bhagavan Krishna mentions when we talk about yajna, yajñānām japa yajño asmi. In yajna, I'm japa yajna. Yajñānām japa yajño asmi. I'm japa yajna. So Bhagavan has invested all his energies in his holiness. So that's why we are requesting all of you to chant. We have to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. But this was in Satyug, and in Satyug the system was different. The procedures, it was recommended to do meditation, and this is what even Hiraṇyākṣipu did. He performed meditation for so many years, and he was granted boon by Lord Brahma. So now we continue. We move to the next text. So we go to text 12. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. So in text 12, we see here how he is ordering, how Hiraṇyākṣipu is ordering all the demons to go and to destroy Mother Earth, as we say, and all the inhabitants. So we're going to read the text together. Yatra yatra dvijagavo veda varnashrama kriyaha tam tam janapadam yata sandipayata vrishchata. Translation. Immediately go wherever there is good protection for the cows and Brahmins, and wherever the Vedas are studied in terms of the Varnashram principles. Set fire to those places and cut from the roots the trees there, which are the source of life. So we see that Brahman Hatya and Gau Hatya were happening even this has always been ongoing. So we just beg at the lotus feet of Bhagavan Shri Krishna, Bhagavan Shri Vishnu, that he protects us, because as we every day we pray. Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahman Hitaya Jagaditaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namo. So Bhagavan Shri Krishna, out of all the living entities, the two main entities are very, very dear to the Lord. They are the Brahman and the cows. And we see here how actually the cows and the Brahmins were being actually targeted by Hiraṇyakaśipu. So this is how the Guru Srila Prabhupada also is mentioning that how it's very, very important to have perfect Brahmins. Even in Kali Yuga, though in Kali Yuga it's very difficult, we are all born Shudra, Kalo Shudra Samvaraha, because the population of the modern world consists mostly of Shudra. But this Brahmanical culture, this is what we are doing for ISKCON. We are training people to have Brahmanical qualities. So that's why it's an opportunity for one and all to join our institution and to develop these qualities. So we continue and let's see how these were happening in those days and still happening in this world. Nowadays we see how there's so much slaughterhouses and we hardly find any Brahmins. So we move to text 13. Iti te bhartri nirdesham adaya shirasa dhitaha tatha prajanam kadanam vidadhuha kadan priyaha. Translation. Thus the demons, being fond of disastrous activities, took Hiraṇyakashipu's instructions on their heads with great respect and offered him obeisances. According to his directions, they engaged in envious activities directed against all living beings. So we see how the demons were actually being led by Hiraṇyakashipu, and for them, he had the position of God. He wanted to be God. So they all offered him obeisances. This is what people of demonic qualities want. They want others to come and fall at their feet. And then they were supposed to be going and acting according to his directions. So in the purport, Guru Srila Prabhupada is explaining that the followers of demoniac principles, as described here, are thoroughly envious of the general populace. So we're seeing nowadays how the general population, we are suffering. We are all suffering. We fall in this category of general populace. But those who are demoniac, they are using all types of strategies to make us suffer. So in the present day, scientific advancement exemplifies such envy. We don't have to mention we are all victim of this COVID-19 virus, and we see already what was written in our Shastra is still coming up. How envious people, how people who are having those following these demonic principles, actually putting the general population or the general populace, all living entities are under the danger nowadays. So the discovery of nuclear energy has been disastrous to people in general because demons all over the world are manufacturing nuclear weapons. And we won't say only nuclear weapons, but also nowadays we have viral weapons in the form of viruses also. So we move to the next verse. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. We read the Sanskrit verse. Puragram Vrajodhyana Kshetra Rama Samakaran Kheta Kharvatta Ghoshamscha Dadahu Pattanani Cha. The demons set fire to the cities, villages, pasturing grounds, cow pens, gardens, agricultural fields, and natural forests. They burned the hermitages of the saintly persons, the important mines that produce valuable metals, the residential quarters of the agriculturists, the mountain villages, and the villages of the cow protectors, the cowherd men. They also burned the government capitals. So we are seeing here the devotees how actually demons usually they operate. This is the modus operandi. They know how to, if they want to have control, so-called control over the general populace. So here these demons, they have been setting fire, you see, to all these places, whether it was cities, villages, and you see pasturing grounds where no mata is supposed to be going, and they are having food, their food, the natural food. So this is the problem that has been happening since, should say, time immemorial, and we have just started with this Sri Nrsimha Katha. So day one, dear devotees, we are going to end today's Katha here. So we hope that we're going to have some more audience in the coming days. So